More than 4,500 people per month moved to the state of Tennessee since 2020. Think about that, right? That's 4,500 new residents per month, roughly around 153 people per day that moved to Tennessee. That made Tennessee one of the top 8 places to move to since 2020. Hey, I'm John Bourgeois. I'm a realtor with eXp Realty here in Nashville, Tennessee. But more importantly, I'm a father. I'm actually a father of 4. I'm a fiance, and I'm one of those 4,500 people per month that moved to Tennessee from the Pacific Northwest in 2021. So the questions are definitely, 1, why are people moving, right? 2, where are they coming from? Well, jobs and education is definitely huge here, but when you're moving from one of those more expensive states, right, the cost of living is greatly reduced here. There is no state tax. The ability to actually go ahead and acquire a home is greatly increased. It's definitely a change of pace. It's definitely a change of environment and scenery. But when you're looking at it from the lens of what was 2020, people start to ask themselves, right? They start to ask themselves, is this the place that I want to still continue to live, right? Is this the place that I want to go ahead and raise my kids in, right? And for others, it was the ability to go ahead and have a change in the political climate, right? And so when we start to look at where are people actually coming from, well, statistically speaking, the majority of the people that are coming into Tennessee, they're coming from the West Coast, right? But if we were to go ahead and get a little bit more granular, the Pacific Northwest, where we actually moved from, was ranked one of the top 10 places to move into Tennessee. And when we start to get a little bit more granular, right, Washington State, which is where we went ahead and moved from, actually saw close to 48.5% of people exit from Washington State in 2021. Now, Tennessee has definitely been in the news, and there has been no shortages of celebrities who've been extremely vocal about their move from the West Coast to Tennessee. I mean, Tomi Lahren is just one of them. Justin Timberlake just went ahead and opened up his brand new restaurant in downtown Nashville. You have Amazon that's going ahead and opening up their second location here. You have Oracle that is moving. You have Facebook that just went ahead and announced that they're too going to be moving to Nashville as well. And then on top of that, you have these established businesses like Nissan and Mitsubishi and Dave Ramsey that have been here for years, plus a plethora of other different businesses as well. But I know for myself, when I hear statistics like that, right, it can just go in one ear and out the other, right? It can just sound like a stat, right? Over 4,500 people per month. But I want you to think about it this way, right? That's 4,500 different stories per month. That's 4,500 different testimonials per month. That's 4,500 different reasons per month that people are going ahead and moving to Tennessee. And so I want to go ahead and I actually want to share my story with you, because I want it to be able to be something where if I had the opportunity to tell you some of the stuff that would have made it easier on me, I want to be able to bring that value to you. And I want you to be able to utilize it as you're thinking about doing maybe the similar type of move yourself. So a couple of quick things that you got to know about me. Right, my fiance is originally from the Pacific Northwest. She grew up there. She went to college there. I mean, Redmond and Kirkland were her stomping grounds, right? But for me, I actually grew up on a little island in the middle of the Pacific called Guam. And the Pacific Northwest was actually one of those places that I chose as my home. I lived there for the last 7 years. Absolutely fell in love with Seattle and its sports culture. Portland was one of my favorite cities, right? I thought it was absolutely beautiful. The trees, the trails, the mountains, the food, the people, all of it was fantastic. In fact, when my sister decided that she was going to leave the Pacific Northwest, I told her, I am never, ever, ever, ever going to be moving away from the Pacific Northwest. It definitely had my heart, right? My kids were raised there, and that's all they knew as well, right? And a little bit about my family, just so you know a little bit more, is we actually, my fiance and I, we co-parent our 4 kids. And so back in July of 2021, my fiance, myself, and my ex-wife and her now husband, they came to us and they said, hey, our employer is giving us basically an ultimatum, right? They're asking us to move to the Midwest. Would you be open to going ahead and doing that? And I remember myself and my fiance really having to have a separate conversation, right? And it was this conversation of, this is all we've known and this is part of our heart. The Pacific Northwest is part of our heart. But at the same time, like, is this where we want to continue to live, right? Is this where we want to raise our kids? And is there some place that's better for us? And so in October of 2021, we actually went ahead and packed up our entire house. The pod came and we loaded it all up, right? And we got everything that we had accumulated into this small little pod. And we drove 36 hours across the states to Tennessee. Now, I fell in love with a county in Tennessee, specifically in the Nashville area, called Williamson County and Maury County, and we'll get to that a little bit later. I want you to think about, we had been living in the Pacific Northwest for the last 7 years. Our friends, our family was there. We had fallen in love with the place. Yeah, 2020 had happened and it had gotten a little different and it wasn't the same place that we knew, but it was still home for us, right? And so in the matter of months, we literally packed up everything we owned, put it into a pod, and moved to an entirely new place. Now, moving is definitely physical, right? But what a lot of people don't talk about is the emotional element, right? We're moving the familiarity. We're moving from our friends and from our family. And we're moving to the unknown, right? And so the goal for this channel is I want to be able to definitely share as much value with you as possible. Right? So that if you are there, if you are in a place where you're thinking about it, I want to actually be that resource for you if you're looking at making, similar changes. All right, without further ado, here are the 5 reasons that we chose Williamson County and Maury County as the place we wanted to move to and our new home for our family in Tennessee. But before we do that, do me a favor. Go ahead and make sure you like, you subscribe, and you hit that bell. Obviously, that's going to go ahead and definitely help our channel. It's going to keep me motivated to continuing to go ahead and making new videos for you. But probably most important is if you are thinking about making a move like this, right? Most of the videos that I'm going to go ahead and be making is going to have extremely timely information on those videos. Right? And so if you are considering a move like this, you're going to want to have as much timely information and content as possible. And those bells, It's going to go ahead and alert you anytime a brand new video comes out and help you make this decision. Okay, so a couple of really quick things about Nashville, Tennessee that you're going to want to know about. So weather-wise, Tennessee doesn't really have those blistering summers or those really frigid winters. You're looking at the temperature being right around 40 degrees in the winter, 83 degrees in the summer, okay? Temp-wise, it's generally mild year-round, but you're still going to have those very distinct 4 seasons. Now, when it comes to rain, though, I'm going to let you know this. It rains a lot. It's actually ranked, Nashville, Tennessee is actually ranked number 6 in the entire country when it comes to rain. Now, I know what you're saying to me coming from the Pacific Northwest. You're saying, John, it rains a lot here in the Pacific Northwest. What are you even talking about? So let me explain real fast for you, okay? So in the Pacific Northwest, you can expect those really gray sort of days, right? The misty type of rain, very light, the type of rain that you don't even need an umbrella for. Well, it's a little different here in Tennessee. It can be absolutely blue skies, sunny and gorgeous outside, and then downpouring of a torrential rain where you definitely need an umbrella, and then right after those 15 minutes, out comes the sun, out comes the blue all over again. So I promise you, it's different, and you definitely will want to make sure you have an umbrella, okay? And as far as the most beautiful months, you're looking at March through May being some of the most beautiful months. You're also looking at September through November being some of the most beautiful months. You can expect some balmy days with very cool nights, right? And then roughly a reasonable level of humidity throughout the year as well. So let's jump into it. Williamson County and Maury County. So the first thing you need to know about Williamson County and Maury County is it was actually ranked the fastest growing area in Nashville, Tennessee. And to give you a little bit of an understanding of exactly what that looks like, right? Williamson County in 2018 had right around 231,978 people in it. And in 2022 had 257,714 people in it. Maury County, on the other hand, in 2018 had 89,776 people in it. And in 2022 had over 102,729. Why is that important to you? Because it's continuously growing and it's got infrastructure for growth as well. Reason number 1 for why we chose Williamson County and Maury County. Location. Literally, Williamson County is 34 minutes away from downtown Nashville. That means it's 34 minutes away from your cowboy hats, your cowboy boots, and all things that are country music, right? It's literally only 2 hours away from the gorgeous Chattanooga area and the gorgeous river that you've got the ability to go on. If you're missing the gorgeous mountains of the Pacific Northwest or any of that, you're only 4.5 hours away from the Smokies, so it's a quick drive for you as well. You want to go ahead and drive down to Atlanta, you're only 3.5 hours away from there. If you're missing some Cajun food, you've got the ability to go down to New Orleans, which is only 7.5 hours away from you there as well. And you're a 10-hour drive away from Disney World. Now that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing at the same time. And on top of that, you're looking at you're only a 2.5-hour flight away from Miami. So the beautiful thing about where you're at here in Williamson County, Maury County, and Nashville as a whole is you're pretty much central to all the things that are going on. Reason number 2 for why we chose Williamson County and Maury County. The homes. Like I told you already, this area, Williamson County and Maury County, they're one of the fastest growing areas in Nashville, Tennessee. And so what that means is you've got these growing communities, these relocation havens, but different from what you've probably experienced in the Pacific Northwest, not everything is sold or sold out. You've got these gorgeous brand new productions of houses, right? And on top of that, you've got these amazing master plan communities that go ahead and fit everyone's style. I mean, you've got the attractive modern homes, you've got the modern homes themselves, the craftsman style, the modern farm homes. Literally, there is something there for everyone. Reason number 3, we chose Williamson County and Maury County to be our new home in Tennessee was because of the school districts. Now, niche.com actually ranks Williamson County as the #1 place in all of Tennessee when it comes to public schools. And I know what you're saying to yourself is, John, you've got 4 kids, so of course the school districts are important to you. Well, you are correct on that, but I actually want to go ahead, I want to take my dad hat off and I want to go ahead and put my realtor hat on real fast, because school districts are a huge deal when you're moving from one place and going to the next. And here's the reason why. When you choose an area that's got a high ranking when it comes to the school district, what it does, it actually goes ahead and ranks your home high as well, which goes ahead and anchors the value of that home and the attractiveness of the community. So anytime you're going ahead and you're looking at, okay, where do we want to go? School districts definitely needs to be one of those top priorities for you. Reason number 4 for why we chose Williamson County and Maury County to be our new home in Tennessee, and that was the city planning. Now, I already mentioned to you that Williamson County and Maury County are some of the fastest growing areas in Nashville, Tennessee. And so it's really important to look at the city planning. And what that is basically that's the city going ahead and taking a look at the growth and planning out over the next 5, 10, 15 years on what they're going to go ahead and do to go ahead and actually accommodate that growth as well. And so a couple of really cool things that caught my eye. So the first one being the Williamson Comprehensive Land Use Plan, which is basically a rezoning for over 80,000 to 100,000 new homes and new home builds, right? And that's really important when you're coming from a place where oftentimes things are sold out, you're being outbidded, knowing that you've got the ability to go to a place where they're still building brand new homes. Those are all massive things when you're looking at where you're wanting to go ahead and move to. On top of that, there was a specific project that really caught my eye when I was looking at the area, and that was Rims Fleming's at Berry Farms. And what that is that's over 600 acres of mixed development, 1.3 million mixed office spaces. You're looking at condos, you're looking at apartments, you're looking at boulevards full of trees. But more importantly, they're thinking even broader, right? And you're looking at places where they're going to be having live entertainment. You're going to have spaces for shopping and shops. You're going to have new restaurants. You're going to have office spaces. And the reason that's important, very similar to when we were talking about the school districts, is a term that we call in real estate anticipation. And simply put, all that really means is this. When you can anticipate that an area is going ahead and going to grow and see new shops, new school districts, new roads, new hotels, new venues, and things like that, what that does to the value of the home is the anticipation drives that up. And so for us, it was really important as we were moving our family from a place that was home and to a new place for us to go ahead and really take a look at the city planning. Reason number 5 for why we chose Williamson County and Maury County to be our new home in Tennessee, and that was because of the community. Now, I already chatted about the fact that moving is extremely physical, right? I mean, you're literally taking all your things, you're putting them into boxes, right? You're closing down your home, you're loading that all up into a pod or a moving vehicle. You're jumping in your car and you're driving the 36-hour drive or jumping on a flight. So it's definitely physical. But the element that people don't really talk about all that often is that it's also extremely emotional, right? You're leaving your friends, you're leaving your family, you're leaving the lifestyle that you've known, and you're crossing into the unknown. And I'll be honest with you, for both myself and my fiance, as we were driving across the states, there was a moment when we entered into Tennessee that we both shed a tear because we realized we probably wouldn't be back to the Pacific Northwest in quite a long time. And so we wanted to find a place that kind of mirrored what we loved about the Pacific Northwest and brought it to our new home. And here's what I'll tell you. Williamson County and Maury County is exactly that. It is definitely a relocation haven. And why that's important is literally our neighbors are from Indiana. We have people that are from California, from Washington, where we were based, right? We also have people that, my son's jiu-jitsu instructor is from Oregon. One of my peers is from that Portland area, right? And the reason that's important is there's not this coldness, right? You're able to automatically connect with people because they're not necessarily been here forever. But on top of that though, a couple of the things that we were looking for when we were trying to pick a new place is we loved the vibrant city life of Seattle and Portland. And man, oh man, we found it in Nashville, Tennessee. You've got the music that you can literally get to pretty much anywhere, but you got downtown Nashville that's only a quick drive away and you're automatically there. Now, yes, it is different music than you find in the Pacific Northwest or in Seattle or in Portland, right? It's definitely different, but it's that same vibrant city feel. We wanted a place that loved food as much as we do. Well, that was one of the things we had grown to love in the Pacific Northwest. And we wanted to be able to find a place that loved food just as much so we could try different cuisines and fall in love with those as well. But just as important as the city life is and the music scene and the food is, we also wanted that feel of nature. Right? I mean, the Pacific Northwest is absolutely gorgeous when it comes to that. And so it was really important that the place that we called home had the green. It had the trails. It had the creeks. It had the places that when we wanted to step away from the hustle and the bustle that is, we were able to go ahead and explore and fall in love with all that is nature. And I'll tell you this, Tennessee has definitely got it. So there you have it. Location, homes, school district, city planning, and community. Those are the 5 reasons why we chose Williamson County and Maury County to be our new home in Tennessee. Now, the reason I'm making these videos is because looking back, I really wish I had a resource, somebody that would have been able to be somebody that I could reach out to, ask questions, gotten a feel for the area, somebody that would have honestly made it easier of a transition for me and my family. And so I'm hoping that with these videos, I'm being able to do exactly that for you and your family. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that I'm being able to make it easy for you. So that if you are thinking about a move like this, if you are looking at Williamson County, Maury County, if you're looking at Columbia, Franklin, Spring Hill, Arrington, even Brentwood, Nashville, or greater Tennessee, I'd love to be that resource for you. I'd love to be that person that you have the ability to go ahead and call on. And if that even means helping you walk through the process, I'd love to be able to do that for you as well. Let's stay connected, and I'll see you on the next video.